how much can that change the mood of a football club?
Oh, look, I would think that, when you think about it enormously, and it's great to see the fans here today, obviously, and we've been, obviously a great club over 142 years, and but really today and this week is all about getting our fans ready to roll into Sydney and play well up there against the Swans. It's going to be tough enough because they've obviously come off a losing grand final. So Herdy and the coaching staff and the boys are going to have a tough gig. But it'll be interesting how it all rolls out, really, because these guys, these young men have gone through pretty much a ringer, and the fans have been with them all the way, and it's been a roller coaster. So I made my choice to come back much earlier to make sure that you roll through with them. Obviously, I'll always be a caring person for the young club like the Giants. I think it's important. But with the Swans, I'll be really pleased to see us go well against the Swans. Yeah.
What was your emotion on Tuesday when you heard the result?
Oh, I was pretty well relieved for the club and the fans because look, after spending 27 years here and bagging for them when I was a kid, every person I hardly ever met at Essendon has always been fantastic to me. I mean, I had headbutting affairs with obviously at times over as a coach because you might have wanted to keep a play or you had a loss that you didn't think you'd lose. All those sorts of things happen in the game of footy. But in general, my time at Essendon was always fantastic. And to sit there in the Parramatta River watching what they've been going through was pretty well, just frustrating. But good to see. I think Job spoke really well the other day. And so did Herdy. It was really good to see Herdy apologise to the fans in the game. I thought that was a really important comment for him to feel because he doesn't show his emotions that much. He's a very sort of inward person where probably Terry Danaher and myself, we're a bit out there and have a bit of fun with the fans, but Jim's a very close, tight, inward person. Most of his family are really. His grandfather was like that and his father, very shy sort of people. So in the end, it was really a pleasing day for the club. The staff, I've been enormously impressed with the staff since I've been back here the last couple of weeks. So in general, across the board, excellent from that point of view. I know there's going to be other issues that ASADA want to keep working through, but they're going to make their decision. That's fair enough, that's their job. It's very important that we have our sport in this country, which is so dear to us, really running well. And I mean at all sports. So all and above, I think that was just a great week for the Bombers so far, and I'm heading up to the game to make sure I'll be there and enjoy a really competitive performance by not only us, but both the clubs will be pretty competitive, and how it rolls out, well, only time will tell.
We do have a few weeks where that appeals process is open. How will that be affecting the players? It's not finished yet, unfortunately.
No, well, that's fair enough. I mean, everybody's here to do our job, but I think in general, it's probably been over a couple of years, heading into the third year. Been a long enough time, I would have thought that they, through the process of what they've gone through, and it'll be interesting in the end how it all pans out, because the good thing about all of this, if there's one good thing, is it'll actually reshape the landmark case of how we look at team sports with ASADA and WADA right throughout the world and right throughout this country. And I think that, and that's important, that is important.
Is there concern about that appeal though within the club?
Well, look, I haven't sat down with anybody at the board level or obviously our senior staff here. But look, it's not over yet, that's fair enough. But I think, as I said, we took the judgment of a group of people that are judges, and they felt that in the end that's the way they saw it. And that was an independent tribunal, and I think that it's going to be very hard, I would think and imagine, to overturn that.
Kevin, you've been in the game for a hell of a long time now and faced your
Half
own...
a century, how are you?
Faced your
About
own...
20 years older than you, so.
Yeah, faced your own challenges. Would you say this is the most difficult thing you think a football club's ever had to face?
Well, I definitely think it's one of them. I think Fitzroy faced going out of extinction. They've never had their club really, and they lost it with many wonderful Fitzroy people. Obviously, the Melbourne Hawthorn merger, and you've seen how Hawthorn have come back from that. Very strong, replan, regrouped as a group of people. Essendon have to do that, there's no doubt about that, regroup, replan their future. And to me, that's one of the reasons I come back, because I can see there's an enormous amount of growth opportunity here for our club. And I mean, this landscape here is enormous. I've just been up planning some youth leadership programs at that year 9, 10 level. I want to sort of look into this Northwest Passage out here, go to the board with some ideas. Want to get sort of dream time at the highest level. I don't think we're there with that yet, and that'll be hopefully advanced this year, where we can nearly sell the game out. And of course, the real iron in the fire at the moment is National Farmers Day. I just don't think we appreciate and thank our farming communities right around this country. So there's an area that I think we can go from a negative to a positive, and just get into clear space and clear water. And I'm pretty energised about that, to be honest, as a person myself, and my advice to the club.
How long do you think it will take for the Bombers to shake this whole scandal? How many years?
Oh, I don't think that'll take any longer than this year. I think so, because I think in the end, most people feel that the players have been unfortunately positioned in all of this, and I think that the Essendon Footy Club's been obviously smashed financially, kicked out of the finals, taken out of the draft. So it's been probably the biggest penalty ever in AFL history. So I think they've copped a decent whack, and I think in the end, deservedly so, you know. But I reckon if you keep whipping a horse like, you're going to go nowhere. And you don't want a club that's just going to kept getting whipped. I mean, to me, you're penalised. The players have been relieved, obviously, with that decision, and we move into the next era. And that's just the way that we have to go.
You've got some tickets to hand out today.
Well, I think that's an era where we make it which way we want to go ourselves as a club. Obviously, it's a tough gig, AFL now. It's 18 clubs in it. We've just given the birth of 2 new clubs an enormous amount of draft choices to get them up and running, which I think's been fantastic and right for the game. So we are a true, national sport from that point of view. We have now 10 in one state and 8 in two in every other state. So that's obviously fantastic from that point of view. So it is a challenge to win premierships now more than ever before, and so from Essendon's point of view, we're going to be smarter than ever if and when we go up the ladder and get back into where the club feels it has the capacity to be.
Can you tell us about these tickets you're giving out today? Who are they going to, and are they a bit of a thank you to the fans?
Well, we should thank the fans. The fans are very, very important, but from our point of view, we just felt that the bus is going to Sydney. I think, Justin, were they heading off? What day? What time? 3 a.m. Saturday morning, and from our 3 a.m. now. I'm normally getting, no, I won't say that, but I'm sleepwalking at 3 a.m. But look, I've been at the other end. I remember getting off out of bed early in Adelaide and meeting the fans when they come up by train across from Melbourne by train, and we had a lot of fun on the Adelaide, platform there that day, because they wouldn't have thought their coach would be there at 7:15 when the train arrived. But you can have a lot of fun on interstate trips and that. And look, I think the club's made a good call. I think it was James Hird made the call. Let's get as many fans into Sydney, and at our cost if need be, and go and play a great game for the sake of the fans that have been hanging in there for the last couple of years. And we hope to have a really strong membership this year. We want to challenge Collingwood. I've got to I think I'd like to have an investigation into Collingwood and whether they're counting black and white cats and black and white dogs. So I've asked Sam Newman to do that investigation, of course. But I think in the end we want to challenge Collingwood for the most memberships and get our club back on track.
Kevin, these players have had some great performances in the last 2 years under a lot of pressure. Now that their minds are clear, what's possible this year?
Well, there's 2 things that can happen. They'll have a flat week this week, which I hope they don't. They're going to have to play a really tough, strong 120-minute performance up in Sydney. So technically throughout the game, you're going to have to be very smart how you play this game from the Bombers' point of view, because you're playing a very irate, hurt internally Sydney Swans after their grand final performance. But the year in general, you'd have to think, except for losing Paddy Ryder, who's a huge loss for the Bombers, they've picked up some more experienced players, and You know, if you think the Bombers had a pretty good year the last 2 years, kicked out of the finals once. So they're getting some solidarity there. And I think with a little bit more experience which they've got, you know, you'd have to think, if you're the senior players here, they'll probably say, well, I've got 2 years, maybe 3. Now's the time. And that's the way you've got to be looking at it. So they'll want to make sure they can get into a top finals position with a chance.
Are you saying they're flag contenders, Kevin?
Look, I wouldn't say they're flag contenders at the moment, but I think they're a better chance than most of the others. I think that, you know, my flag contenders at the moment obviously will be, you know, Port Adelaide with the addition of a Paddy Wright. It's going to be very good. Obviously, Hawthorn, Swans are hurting, so they'll be back on track somewhere. And I think Geelong's recruited a little bit better than what people think. So it's going to be about that. Fremantle are dangerous if they kick more goals, but they haven't kicked more goals for a long, long time than most of the others in final series. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.